Hey guys, Job's here. Job. And we're back at ACF. We're going to talk about the jerk now. We're going to talk about the split jerk, okay? So the split jerk, the reason why we split jerk or why it's more effective for the athlete, right? If we look at Jeff in a power jerk position, so he's going to go ahead and he's land in that power jerk position. So with his hands closed, feet right underneath him. Right, so go ahead and have the bar overhead. Right, so with the brunt of the load on this weight, you can see that if Jeff were to try and squat in this position, right, what's going to happen? His chest is just going to drop forward, the bar is going to be out in front of him. It's a very demanding position for the athlete to support weight overhead, right? And the reason being is because you don't have a lot of surface area, right? You can see Jeff's feet, they're pretty much hip width, right? So the more weight, the further he's going to have to squat down, the tougher the squat is, right? You wouldn't overhead squat in this position, okay? So he's going to bring his weight back down. So this is why we teach the split jerk. It's more effective for the athlete. It's an easier way to get more load overhead. And at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? Intensity, more load, right? For the distance, all that good stuff. All right, so again, making sure the athlete's has the ability to get in a good rack position, right? The key to jerks, if you want a great cue that I use is letting the athlete know if their hands weren't on the bar, how would they get the bar over their head, right? So if you see that your athlete has their bar in front of the collarbone, right, the brunt of the load is on their wrist, just go ahead and ask him. If your hands weren't on the bar, what would happen? And if Jeff's hands weren't on the bar right now, it would just fall in front of him, okay? So it's got to be in this good rack position on the shoulders, right? As well as on the shoulders towards the trachea, right? Not choking himself, but it does need to be supported on the shoulders just like you would in a clean. All right, now the bar position in his hand. I don't teach jerks with an open hand. It'd be great. I see Olympians do it all the time. It'd be awesome, but it's just, in my opinion, it's just tough. When the athlete jerks with an open hand, it takes a while for the hand to get in for the bar rather to get in their hand, so they're kind of waiting on it and then they punch through. All right, so I always prefer making sure that my athlete's got the bar or their thumb wrapped around the bar. Now, the bar needs to be placed in the medial portion of the palm, so that's back toward pretty much where everybody has calluses, right? So back towards their fingers, making sure that it's supported there and not towards the bottom of the palm, right? Because that's gonna put load on the wrist. Okay, so now, Jeff's got this good rack position. I want him to create some torque off the object, right? So I'm gonna ask him to externally rotate as best he can, really brace his shoulders back and down. All right, he's gonna I prefer to teach with a slight tilt to the chin, right, just to be sure that you don't smack yourself, of course. Okay, I would ask Jeff to widen out his stance just a little bit. Now we're gonna talk about this, right? So, as I said, right, if his hands weren't on the bar, he's gotta create some kind of momentum elevation on it, right? So, he's gotta go down, right, with that dip, keeping his chest up, keeping his hips open, right? We don't want any forward inclination, but he's gotta have an up to it. A lot of times you'll see athletes go down and then they just go down again, right? We don't want that. He's gotta go down and up, okay? So it's a dip and it's a jump. He's dipping, he's gonna dip to jump to throw this bar, right? And then his feet lie down in the split. So talking about his feet, relax. Talking about his feet position, right? You would like generally the more surface area the better, right? So I would just tell Jeff to pretend he's standing in the middle of a big block, right? So I would like if his right foot was jumping out forward, I would say his right foot's going to 1 o'clock, his back foot going to 7 o'clock. Now, is it a big importance for your feet to jump way out there? No, not necessarily. I don't want you in a lunge. Right? The big keys is that making sure that this front foot, that his knee doesn't go past his toe. So show us what a short jump looks like with that front foot, right? And you'll see if his knee goes past his toe, right, now his hips are forward, he's gonna lose that weight going in front of him. So this is a huge no-no, making sure the knee needs to stay back behind the toe. That's the big piece on how far your front foot needs to go. All right, relax. His back foot, the big key there, and making sure that we don't strike with our heel on the ground. It has to be just toe, okay? So again, you don't want to be in a lunge. There needs to be a slight bend to your knee, but the big piece is making sure that it's just toe that strikes the ground, no heel. Okay, so I'm going to ask Jeff to get in the back position again. He's going to dip, jump to throw, his feet land, right? Knees, front foot's got his knee behind his toe, back foot is just toe. If you really want to get really technical about it, make sure that the athlete's heel is turned slightly out, okay? That'll set the hip, his front leg is supported through the quad, and now he's centered, right? He's got the bar over his spine, he's supported through the system, it's stacked over the midline, and he's good to go.